Quickly, no pain, no gain. Holly Williams, Sky News, Tianjin, China.
More than 75,000 ethnic Uzbeks are returning home after fleeing Kyrgyz violence in southern Kyrgyzstan. But there's a major risk that ethnic violence between the two communities could flare up again. It's reported returning refugees have been beaten by police and there are fears of revenge attacks against the Kyrgyz community in Uzbekistan. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Antonio Guterres, is in Kyrgyzstan and he joins me now on the line from the city of Jalalabad. Thank you very much for joining us. What would you say that the situation is like there? Is it out of control?
I think that things have calmed down, but there is an enormous amount of tension and mistrust. And indeed there is a risk for violence to start again. And I believe it is absolutely essential to avoid it. There is a lot of work that only the Kyrgyz government can do itself in order to reestablish confidence between communities, in order to make everybody understand that they are all citizens of the same country with the same rights. But there must be also a lot more of engagement of the international community in peace building, in humanitarian aid, and also in support to this country that has very limited economic resources, but that absolutely needs to have the conditions to provide for their citizens with a minimum that is required for peace also to be possible, and for stability to be able to endure. It's not only Kyrgyzstan, it's the whole of Central Asia. We cannot afford that violence in Kyrgyzstan between two ethnic communities might have a spreading effect. Let us not forget that in this Fergana Valley where I am here in Jalalabad, we have 3 states, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, but in every state you have minorities from each other, and so to help people live together, to help people respect each other is essential for peace and stability in this whole area.
And what's the relationship like between the returning Uzbeks and the Kyrgyzstan government?
Well, first of all, almost all the refugees in Uzbekistan came back. They are slowly integrating, but still with a lot of mistrust and still difficulties and problems. But there is also many people displaced inside Kyrgyzstan, and many people that were not displaced but just saw their houses burned, like the ones I have behind me. And now it's essential that the Kyrgyz government does everything for them not to feel discriminated, for them to feel fully integrated, to be citizens like all the others, and there's still a long way to go, and there is a lot of international support that is required for that to be possible.
And you've met the Kyrgyzstan's interim president, Rosa Utumbayeva, yesterday, and you're meeting her again today. How are those talks gone, and what are you expecting to discuss today?
I do believe that she is fully committed to a democratic Kyrgyzstan, to a Kyrgyzstan where all communities can live together with the same rights. But I also feel how fragile is the government now, how fragile is this political situation, and how much she needs support and commitment from the international community, both at regional and at global level.
And is enough aid getting in? Will there be enough aid there to help them throughout the summer and then into the winter as well?
Humanitarian aid is absolutely crucial and it must be increased. We are doing our best, but it's not only emergency aid. As you said, the winter is the key factor here. From October onwards, temperatures will be very, very cold. People cannot live in tents. And so a concerted strategy for shelter, both reconstruction and transitional shelter, able to support people during the winter, is absolutely crucial. And again, Kyrgyzstan will not be able to do it by itself. The support of the international community will be absolutely crucial.
And talking of the international community, should they be putting more pressure on the government to actually sort it out?
I think that it's not only a question of pressure, it's a question also of help. Ideally, we should have a system of monitoring in place, helping the local authorities to establish a true peace and reconciliation process. In the absence of that, agencies like mine are deploying in meaningful numbers, because protection by presence is extremely important, but to engage in order to make sure that confidence confidence is reestablished between communities is something that is absolutely crucial at the present moment. We cannot afford to have a new outbreak of violence that would have dramatic consequences not only for Kyrgyzstan but for the whole area.
The UN High Commissioner for Refugees there, Antonio Guterres in Kyrgyzstan. Thank you very much for joining us on Sky News. Romania is to request aid from the European Union to help repair roads, houses and crops damaged by a week of severe flooding caused by torrential rain. At least 22 people are now known to have died, most of whom were swept away by the floodwaters. Thousands of homes have been evacuated. The Taliban says it's carried out an attack at an airport outside Jalalabad in eastern Afghanistan. A car bomb was set